Well, hello everybody. Today we are talking about keys and key signatures. Chances are you've heard both of these words before. So the type of keys we're talking about is what we'll talk about first. So it's obviously not the type of keys that jingle in your pocket that you open doors with. It's also not the type of keys that are like the piano keys, you know, like play the key F, like in the middle of the piano, even though it's kind of related to that. But the type of key we're mostly talking about today is when somebody says to you, let's play this song in the key of G, or I wrote this song in the key of D, or this song is in the key of, C minor. I should mention that there's major and minor keys. There's also a bunch of modes, but we won't talk about those today to avoid confusion, of course. But anyway, what a key basically is when they talk about things in terms like that, they're talking about the notes that are commonly found in a passage of music, or even a whole song, but if the song changes key, then it's only that passage of music. So what that really means is that, like, say you have the key of C. Well, the key of C tells you a specific set of notes that you can find in that song, but it doesn't mean that they'll all appear in that order. So here's what I'm going to get to. Let's talk about what a scale is. So you've probably played your C major scale before. It's from one C to the next C and all the white keys in between. So by definition, the key of C major, it is major by the way, the one we're talking about, has 0 sharps and 0 flats. So in the key signature, which tells you what notes are sharp or flat in a key, there will be 0 sharps and 0 flats listed. So it'll be basically like nothing is there at all. So that basically tells you in that song, you're probably not going to find a whole lot of sharps or flats. But does that mean that you can't absolutely find any sharps or flats? Well, no. In fact, there's certain rules on how to add those in there. But in general, you're not going to see that. You're just going to be seeing a lot of notes that are not sharp or flat. That's why a lot of songs for beginners start out in the key of C, since you don't have to worry so much about all of these black keys. But like I said, it is possible to have those notes in there. By the way, if a note appears in the middle of a song that's not in the key signature as a sharp or flat, that is what's called an accidental. So I'll show you what an accidental is versus a key signature. So let's see. I'll show you what a key signature looks like. Let me pick one. We will pick the key of G major. So notice how the sharp is written like right in the middle, or right in the beginning, of the piece. It's not written really anywhere else, unless, there's some rules behind that, but just know that the key signature appears in the beginning of the song. And then like an accidental, what that would be is like, say I have an A, right? And A isn't in the key signature as a sharp, so it's just regular A. And then let's say I want this one to be an A flat. For some reason it drew another A. Sometimes this thinks I'm trying to draw another note when I'm trying to draw a flat like that. So that is what's called an accidental. That one right there, that A flat. Because it doesn't appear in the key signature and it just appears, in the middle of the song like that. So let me just erase this. Let's go back to the key of C, since I do have more to say about it, by the way. Let's go back. Where are you? C major. Notice how that sharp disappeared. We're looking at the bottom of the screen, by the way, at the staff. So remember that a scale is all of the notes that exist within a key. If I had to define scale, like C major scale, is from one C to the next C, with no sharps or flats in between. So a scale is all the notes in the key where you begin with what we call the tonic. So if you're in the key of C major, C is your tonic, or if you're in the key of B flat minor, B flat is your tonic, which means it's your starting note and ending note if you're playing the scale. And then you play all the notes that exist in that key in between those two notes. So you're playing from one C to the next C if we're in the key of C major, and all the white keys in between. So when a piano teacher makes you learn your scales, try not to look at it too negatively, because they do really come in handy, because it helps you visualize all the notes that exist within that certain key. There are tons of keys. There are 11, I believe 11 major keys in total, and then there's 2 different types of minor keys, at least, actually 3 for each of those. So there's a lot of those, and then there are a ton of modes. So there's tons of scales to learn. But if you were looking for a starting place, I would just go through all the major scales for the sharps and your flats. So let's take a look. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover today, so I will wrap up the lesson. Remember that a key, when somebody talks about playing in a key signature or a certain key, they're talking about the notes that are very common in that piece of music. Now, you can have notes out of that key, but in general, you're going to stick to the key, and you're not going to have everything, just randomly placed. It really helps you understand what notes exist in that key. And then later on, when you learn music theory, it also helps develop what chords are also in that key. So it really just tells you what notes exist in a certain piece of music. And I guess if I had to boil it down to that one thing, that's what it would be. So I'm going to end it here. I look forward to more lessons, of course, on the channel. Go to my website, lessonsontheweb.com, if you're interested in learning more about music and learning how to play the piano. I have a ton of content over there. Way more than YouTube, even though I do have a decent amount on YouTube, and videos will be released every once in a while. But anyway, that's Tim from Lessons on the Web, and I will see you for the next lesson. Thank you very much.